Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS Current Affairs for 20th November 2020. In this video, we'll be discussing a couple of issues, one with respect to the East Asia Summit and the other one about the limitations on the free speech, especially on air, that is in media. The first article for the day is taken from the Indian Express and it is titled Partnership in Progress. Recently, East Asia Summit happened and we have discussed about this in the previous videos. So what exactly is East Asia Summit? We have seen this in the context of the discussion with respect to RCEP. So East Asia Summit comprises of various countries in the Indo-Pacific region. So recently when India's External Affairs Minister who represented our country in this particular East Asian Summit, he took an apparent dig at China. So he expressed concerns about actions and incidents that erode trust in the South China Sea region. In this particular meeting, India expressed that Indo-Pacific is now growing as a region where there is a room for organic maritime space for various stakeholders, including ASEAN. So ASEAN has been the fulcrum of our East Asia policy, and integrating our ties with ASEAN is central to counter the problems that we might face with RCEP, which has China under it, considering the fact that 30% of the global GDP comes from RCEP countries only. Now, with India out of this, the probability of countering China has become even more problematic. Across the world, many experts believe that RCEP will take a backstage because there is a possibility that the supply chains will be reintegrated again with China. All the Western countries want to move away from China and diversify their value chains and supply chains across the region, and India has been trying their best to capture this opportunity. However, most of the Asian countries have seen certain advantage with the RCEP deal, and therefore, despite the fact that we are in the middle of a pandemic, has not stopped the negotiations with respect to RCEP and has put all the apprehensions behind with respect to China. So any hopes of containing China by the Asian countries has been put on a back burner. If you take a look at the Hanoi Declaration that was signed in the East Asian Summit this time, it was majorly backed by China and Russia, and therefore most of the leaders, including ASEAN, have not spoken about these controversial issues where Chinese aggression has been exhibited. India was one of the few countries which has raised these concerns regarding the South China Sea controversy, wherein China has been aggressively pursuing a set of islands through its 9-dash line. So we have already discussed what 9-dash line means in a lot of videos in the month of March, April and May. So the central takeaway from this entire article is the fact that now that we don't have a part in RCEP, we have to regionally integrate with the Quad countries and balance the aggression shown by China. Even though East Asia Summit is more likely to be an economic forum, India did try to raise its voice with respect to certain strategic concerns, but it witnessed limited results. So in this context, Quad is going to be very important. Also, along with the strategic concerns, since it is a primarily economic forum, certain other issues were also discussed which would be of interest to India. Say for example, we're talking about the fishing industry. So India did try to negotiate on these terms with respect to enhanced cooperation between the countries to contain this illegal fishing and enhance the structures that augment the regional cooperation for mobility. At the same time, movement between various countries of this East Asia Summit countries, that is the Indo-Pacific countries who are the members of this summit, will also increase our export sector. Now when we are talking about exports, we are basically talking about services wherein we have a edge. One of the reasons why India opted out of RCEP deal was because services was not included as a part of the deal. So in this context, the entire atmosphere around East Asia Summit has clearly signaled that India will now move towards augmenting the capacities with respect to bilateral trades and free trade agreements. So the first one that we have to start renegotiating is the India ASEAN FTA, because there are certain issues which are stopping India to completely leverage the free trade agreement. So we have to move towards more countries, and we have to increase our bilateral engagement. That is the gist of this article. The second article for the day is taken from the Hindu, and it is titled Curbing On-Air Bigotry. Recently, the News Broadcasters Association, or NBA, has asked the Supreme Court to include its ethical code in the program code of the Cable Television Network Rules 1994. This ethical code is against airing malicious, biased and regressive content. So this NBA, or the News Broadcasters Association, represents the collective voice of the news and current affairs broadcasters in India. It is an organization that is funded entirely by its members only. In response to this plea, recently the Supreme Court has directed the government to take certain actions, and if it fails to do so, warned the government that it has to indulge in certain code of conduct and enforce that upon the news channels. To the uninitiated, let me give the context of this entire controversy, wherein there was a news channel called Sudarshan TV. This Sudarshan TV has aired a program called Bindas Bol, and there was objectionable content against the Muslim entries into the civil services, and it even alleged that UPSC has been favoring Muslim candidates. The Supreme Court held that the content was prima facie plainly hurtful to the community, and it has asked the News Broadcasters Association to suggest measures to strengthen the self-regulatory mechanism. We have to remember that in India, media is regulated by certain associations like NBA, and therefore it is the responsibility of these organizations to prevent or even penalize airing of communal or derogatory content in the electronic media. Now, there is a debate whether such regulation is necessary. Definitely, self-regulation is one way to maintain the independence and autonomy with respect to freedom of speech and expression that is very much necessary for the autonomous functioning of the media. In the absence of such codes, what happens is government will time and again intervene in curbing the free speech. Therefore, this sort of regulation is very important. The Supreme Court is of the opinion that NBA has not been effective in enforcing its code of conduct, and therefore the government must intervene. Therefore, in the controversy, the debate between the free speech and regulation has even more strengthened. What we have to understand is these sort of controversies are very abnormal even in the standards of NBA. So when a certain threshold is crossed, it is where the government must intervene to stop such massive violations which can affect the society at large. Therefore, it is in the best interest of everyone to ensure that the media has certain level of self-regulation, and at the same time ensure that whenever there are certain elements within the body which are not even adhering to the standards laid down by the body, government must step in. That is the gist of this article. In this context, we have to remember that our constitution allows for checks and balances. The warning that Supreme Court will directly involve in creation of such a code is uncalled for, because it is the primary responsibility of the legislature to come up with laws, and it is the duty of judiciary to ensure that certain principles are abided by. Only when the legislatures fail to do their duty, only then Supreme Court or any judicial body must intervene in the process.